Ending at 11:30. Got some folks coming in. We'll probably give it another minute, right, Eddine, before we get started on today's conversation and obviously our exciting subject of 3D files within the organizations that we work with Synode. So yeah, we'll probably give it another minute or so while people are coming in. And for those that are just arriving now, we are recording this session, so we'll provide a recording afterwards to everyone that did participate and those that couldn't make it as well, right? So the recording is going to be available. So just wanted to mention that to the people that are just coming in now. There will be a recording of this session, and we'll make it available afterwards.
Yes, totally. This is a first amongst a long list of webinars coming. Our objective this year is to create and share more content around 3D data, the 3D world at large, as well as Synode itself. I speak about our story, a beautiful one, our technology, and how it helps manufacturers, original equipment manufacturers to be more precise, tap into the potential of their 3D data and how to make the most of them.
We have to tell the story, Eddine, right? I've been able to, as people are coming in, just again, we'll be starting in just a moment here, getting the webinar started. But I think we got to tell the story. I'm grateful to be involved in quite a few technology accelerators across the US and Canada, and I keep on getting feedback that the Synode solution is really unique. And for many folks, it's something that it's almost like, why didn't we have this before? Right. And so we've had this conversation in the past together, Eddie, but it's really about telling a story of how this solution is helping innovators, engineers, and sales, marketing and sales, and companies building products, and how this solution is going to really help deploying, selling, and supporting products in the future. So 11:32, I think, Eddine, we're gonna slowly get started. More people might come in, but again, this, for those, I noticed a few more participants. So this session is recorded. You all have access to the recording afterwards. But I think we're just gonna get started, Eddine, and let other folks join maybe a bit later, and get right into it. Is that okay?
Yeah, glad to have you everyone with us today. Thrilled to have this session, and I hope you'll find it of interest. And for those coming across Synode for the first time, I hope you'll learn more about us and our unique approach, as you so nicely put it, Sebastian.
Yeah, when we're so I guess let's get started now, Eddie. But when we're picking for a title, just before it's hard to encapsulate everything that we're going to be presenting in one title. But we picked something about centralizing 3D files because that's really going to be the topic of the day, right? And we'll get into more context of the agenda, but the 3D files within the company, it's just a big realization for myself, and as we're working together with a large enterprise, that to realize that there really are different segments of the company, different departments, leveraging 3D files in different ways, but those files are not centralized. So there's a lot of work being doubled up that way, and that's why we thought, hey, let's pick this title. There's a lot of potential in optimizing and centralizing 3D files within organizations.
Rightly said, 3D models are a common thing in the process from idea to making. They are increasingly becoming the single source of truth compared to the old methods involving 2D technical drawings and metadata scattered around in different documents. More original equipment manufacturers are switching to adding PMIs, product manufacturing information data, to the 3D CAD model as an alternative to technical drawings. This is leading to a growing demand for digital applications and thus for virtual living products. It's a leap forward, but one that brings its own challenges in terms of having a coherent, integrated, and centralized management for these 3D data as well as experiences. And that's what we're going to present to you today.
So let's do quick intros. Obviously yourself, Eddie, one of the co-founders and leading the business. Maybe just a word on that background. You started to touch on it in terms of where the company comes from. So maybe just context of you and why choosing this challenge to resolve with this business.
Yes, so my name is Taki Eddine Alimat, co-founder and CEO of Synode. I come from a hybrid background, combining programming and visual arts. So naturally, I quickly found a fit in the front end world as it combines both sides, the visual and the technical. But I also found an affinity with the technological project management because of challenges, notably for North American manufacturers, helping them deploy online sales infrastructures, connecting their online sales channels, PIMs, and ERPs. It was through this experience that I saw areas of improvement in product communications, notably in terms of the infamous paper based assembly guides that are basically downgraded CAD models into 2D technical drawings that I'm sure a lot of us here today had some not so joyful experiences when they were assembling furniture. This is where the desire to create Synode was born. Uh, how to reuse the existing CAD files to create, manage, and share impactful content online simply without having to be a 3D artist or a programmer. So this is the challenge that animated me, and this is what we're doing right now with Synode.
Like, and on my end, so heading partnerships of the business, Eddie and I started working together within the last year, and having worked with innovation departments for several years, when I noticed, looking at that platform, that a lot of times some of the challenges regarding the post sale regarding assembly are as simple as unclear instructions when the Amazons and the other marketplaces of this world are selling these products online. Some of the bad reviews are regarding the clarity of instructions, right? So upon coming upon a Synode, I realized, wow, like this is a fantastic tool to make that piece of the client journey so much easier, so much better. But then, the topic of the day, if we actually go into the agenda, Eddie, it's realizing that, that next stage of or the last stage of supporting the product is really just one of the many steps in the client journey and the 3D files. So if we look at today's agenda, Eddie, back to you, what are some of the topics you're going to be approaching?
We'll start by setting the context, review together the current state of 3D data management inside manufacturing organizations, grasp their importance, and tap into the challenges that most of companies across different industries face when dealing with these type of data and experiences produced from them. Then we'll see how Synode proposes a solution to streamline the different experiences, 3D experiences intended for the end customer, partner, as well as employees. Then we'll do a transition to a demo, showing it live because nothing is better than actually visualizing it.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Exactly. With an example that we like a lot, we were looking at the DJI Phantom drone here at the right. That's what we're going to use for the demo. Then we'll do a quick recap of what we discussed and share how you can get started with Synode. It is at the availability of everyone. You don't need a technical background to create what you're going to see. And at the end of the course, we'll have a QA session to answer your questions and discuss with you as well.
Great. So yeah, currently 3D data, right? We have 3D data in different departments of the company. And it's been interesting because the end stage that we started with, which was clear instructions and making those instructions interactive and so much easier than the classic instruction piece of paper that you get with any type of furniture or product. You've basically come upon the realization that this 3D file resides in other places in the organization and is being reworked in different ways. So maybe touch a little bit more on that, Eddie.
I like how you articulated your question. You've put your finger on it. The revolution that the manufacturing space is going through right now with the passation from the 2D technical drawings to the model-based definition formats where a single 3D CAD file can encapsulate many other types of metadata and informations regarding the product, is becoming or fostering, if I may say, a new era where different experiences, different applications are created to set up a virtual living product, to use it to sell more, to showcase more, to market better, and also to create immersive and interactive experiences, whether it's for training or even for the after sale with the assembly in itself. So we can imagine that this all of these beautiful new opportunities are bringing with them the challenges of how to harmonize all of that inside the organization. Each department has its own requirements, they have their own needs, they use different versions, they're not at the same speed, and it's normal. Some departments, like the engineering, are more in the prototyping business, and other departments, like the after sale, are into we sell now we need to deal with the help of the customer to set up, install, and assemble our product. And all of these departments are not working into the same centralized platform. Each one are digging and asking, requesting for files here and there, and which results in tremendous costs for the organizations. I can give a quick example where a product that has been launched, and now we're at version 2.5 because we did some iterations improvement. The customer service get the file, dispatch it to the designer that will create the assembly guide, and when it's printed and when we have tens of thousands of copies and boxes all across the continent, and then we discover that the drive where the actual model has been uploaded to wasn't containing the right version. So we imagine that how it's going to be costly in terms of inquiries from customers asking questions because they don't understand the instructions they have in front of them, they don't have the right parts, or they don't have the right product. This kind of example or this kind of situation are happening all the time for different manufacturers. And the reason is simple, is that we have different tools, strong tools, CAD systems, we have all of those cloud-based storage systems, but no actual centralized platform where everything can be managed in a seamless manner.
Yeah, and that's why we, have been talking a lot about Synode being more of an operating system of 3D and not just, a platform. Because like we're really going beyond just the clarity of the instructions of the assembly, but we're going into, all of these other use cases that can create a lot of value for the client lifecycle. So, which we're getting into right now. So yeah, maybe touch a little bit more on that, like these different stages of the client journey, the client being, even the buyer of the product.
Yes, so Synode is a platform that started only with a 3D instruction app 1 year ago, but now it's quickly growing and becoming a platform where different departments can contribute, participate, QA the 3D file, and dispatch it into different experiences, whether for streamlining the ordering process, such as with the 3D configurator, to the visualization of the product with 3D marketing visualization when we can see different angles of the same product, to the after sale with the 3D instructions step by step that are totally interactive, zoomable, rotatable with a text to speech in any language the company require. This is the platform we're creating and enriching with different add-ons and applications yet to come to make sure that the company has its multi-tool at hand to help them avoid those type of situations where different versions are circulating at the same time and where the updation of these different experiences becomes more of a hassle than a solution to improve the customer experience.
Are we getting into the demo now? Yeah.
Yes.
Favorite part. Fantastic. So, yeah, let's get into that. But as you were showing, the different stages, now we're going to be looking at basically a screen share of the actual Synode solution with a live use case. So, yeah, that's exciting.
So now we're connected into the Synode platform. I wanted to give
a quick example of the type of experiences that can be created repurposing the 3D and CAD files of the OEMs in themselves. So in here, in this first example, we have the interactive, zoomable, rotatable 3D instruction that is accompanied by textual instructions at the same time with text-to-speech that I just muted that are translatable in any languages you require. So translation can easily be generated to streamline another manual process that takes a lot of time, consume a lot of energy from the engineers, the technicians to maintain, manage a high volume of instructions and their translations in the traditional methods, mainly the 2D instruction sheets. So what we're seeing in here is a step-by-step guide on how to mount and how to install the DJI Phantom drone. So when you receive it in a box after ordering it, this guide replaces the standard YouTube video or the PDF instruction or printed or not that we are used to. What you're seeing in here has been created in less than 10 minutes.
One thing, if I may mention, sorry to interrupt you there, Eddie, but just in terms of the instructions, I think it's important to mention two things that were often being asked. It's not an application, like basically you don't have to install an application on your device. This is a web page that opens up on any device and can easily view on any device. So I think that's important, as well as the fact that it's fully interactive, going back and forth, closely as you're doing right now. It's not a video that, is static and then, like you hope to see the right type of details. You can fully interact with the model, look at the details, get closer, further away. So I think that's really important and powerful. I don't know how many videos, and then same for you, that you had to back up and go back and back up, and then so there's an ad on YouTube, and that's like, well, it's not the most convenient, even though there's more clarity to that probably the paper instructions. It's still not the best, for assembly. So I think this is really an evolution of clear assembly in a way that users have not experienced before. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And this is what is thrilling us because we're raising the barriers that once characterized the way we transfer knowledge. With the static formats, videos, paper-based documentation, we are dependent on the format in itself and on our ability or the engineer's ability, sorry, engineers, if you're here, to convey the information in a clear manner. With 3D visualization, we simplify the following of those instructions, but there's another important thing. We simplify the creation of these because the creation of the instructions, traditionally speaking, the engineers, the technicians had to sit to think, to imagine how the 3D models or how the actual product is going to be mapped into a document and how we convey the information into how to assemble it. While now with Synode, the prototyping of these visualization can be done directly into the software. And when we are satisfied with the iteration, we can save it, generate a QR code, as you mentioned, Sebastian, or a URL link, and then share it publicly, privately. And this is without the requirements of installing an application. Very important to mention it as well.
And so one of the more recent discoveries, though, is this can help a whole lot more than just the assembly process. The same file, the same process now can help sell more of this product. And not just sell because, hey, it's great to know that the product's going to be easy to assemble, because that's always a question when you're buying a product as a consumer. But then, if you look at the configurator, like this brings the buying experience to a whole other level. So let's get into that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. The configurator in itself, this is one of the other solutions. When we discussed earlier about how many departments are requesting the 3D models, the marketing department, for instance, requests the 3D models to ship it to a 3D configurator agency so that it can create for them what we are seeing in here, because it's complicated. It requires programming. It requires technical knowledge. And our vision was to autonomize those departments so they can create in a WYSIWYG manner what you are seeing right now. And this for the model, the basic model in itself, for extra add-ons, and all of that in a self-service platform that is as simple as select and hide, point this to this ID to this variant, and then you will able to generate it, connect it to any e-commerce platform. This is going to be a whole webinar dedicated to this aspect alone. The configurator has a lot of elements to cover, but it gives you an insight on how the same 3D model in Synode can be recycled, if I may say, into sales and after sales experiences.
Correct. I think Eddie, we might be able to take back the presentation from here. But while you're doing that, yeah, I think the whole point today though was to explain how these different sections of the solutions come together. The same file, different purposes, and can help the business in different ways. And of course, if you're investing in a solution like Synode, and you're getting your models on Synode, it's great to know that it's not just going to help with the post-sale process, but it will actually help you sell more of the product. And so that's really powerful there. And I think that's a message that we is more recent in the pitches and in how we're approaching customers, but definitely something that we're going to be talking a whole lot more about this year throughout the spring. Yeah.
Yes, totally. As said previously, this is the first in a long series of webinars intended to cover the different aspects and the potential of the 3D files and how they can be enriched. I see that time is flying by quickly. So Seb, I think it's the moment to give a view on how to get started using our platform and test it out. In order to gain a free trial access to the platform, we invite you to go to the URL link you see at the right of the screen right now, where you can request a demo, meet our team for 15 minutes, where we can understand your needs, what you intend to create in terms of 3D experiences, and also provide you with a free trial access to our platform.
And if I may ask, like, what could be the expectations of anyone testing the platform for a product? What could be done with the trial account? Maybe just to clarify that piece.
Yeah, the access to the platform enables you to upload the 3D CAD model and quickly reuse it to create 3D marketing visualization with the Synode Viewer application, as well as 3D instructions with the Synode Instructions application. For the first application, it is possible to create highly interactive visual with automatically generated animations from a step to the other to promote the product and to embed the viewer into the website, web pages, and your presentations to have this wow effect around the product. The 3D instructions application is a more advanced tool where you can create basically the step-by-step detailed view on how to assemble, deassemble, or maintain an item or a product. It contains tools and features such as textual instructions, image tips upload on top of the viewer, as well as the addition of translations, as well as hardware and parts informations for each step to provide context, the most context possible to your customers. The third application, which is the Synode Customizer, it is actually activated upon request. It's not open to all users. It's actually accessible only for users with the enterprise plan, and since it requires implementations in the different e-commerce platforms that our clients, prospects, and companies use.
Fantastic, Eddie. I think we're coming to a point now where we open it up to the audience. If there are questions, we'll be ready to take them. So I'm keeping an eye here on our chat. And yeah, if any of you have any questions right now, feel free to ask. Otherwise, of course, we can always chat afterwards. We can essentially the contact information or actually the demo links, probably the best way to get started, as next step. But of course, if you want to reach out directly to Eddine or myself, we're available to answer any of your questions too. So I guess let's, wait another 10, 20 seconds. If any questions come up from the group, don't be shy. Otherwise, I mean, maybe it was just so clear that there are no questions, Eddine.
Yep. That's what we hope for. So if you don't have any questions now, don't hesitate to connect with us later on. It will be our pleasure, Sebastian and me, to chat with you, answer your questions, give you further informations also. You'll receive the recording of the webinar soon afterwards, so enjoy taking a coffee and rewatch it. Otherwise, I'll give us a rendezvous in a month where we'll have our second webinar in this series. We'll cover other subjects into the 3D data world. And if you have any suggestions or if you want us to address some particular subjects, let us know, and it will be our pleasure to consider them as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for participating. I see we've had a pretty steady count participants, so everyone pretty much stayed on. So it means something. So yeah, that's great. I mean, from here, we'll be sending out the recording. Thanks again for your participation. Next steps, if you want to try the platform, we do extend that offer, and then we'll be back. We'll be back with more of these. We'll talk more about the configuration module into more details. I think it's important to mention too that this is not just for consumer products, like ready to assemble furniture and other. We do have more and more potential in other industries as well, which I don't want to get into too much detail today, Eddine, but definitely we're seeing how this creates value for other verticals. So an exciting time, really. So I think this is it. I think this is where we say goodbye until next time. Have a great lunch, and we'll definitely keep you posted and send a recording.
Yeah, and before disconnecting, I wanted to take a moment to thank you, Sebastian, for animating this first webinar of Synode with me today. And thanks to everybody to have joined us. It was a real pleasure all to have you with us. I'm looking forward for the next edition of our webinar, of our series. I wish you a great lunchtime. Afterwards, we have work to do. I wish you a productive afternoon, and I'm looking forward to speaking and seeing you pretty soon. Cheers.